Voters go to the polls this morning in the Michigan primary with Donald Trump set for another big win over Nikki Haley. Joe Biden facing a protest vote over the war in Gaza. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce is at a polling site in Dearborn. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, the polls have just opened here in Michigan. This critical state has swung between Joe Biden and Donald Trump in the last elections and will be a must-win for both candidates in November. Now, Donald Trump is expected to win the Republican primary here today. Joe Biden will win the Democratic. But voters here, furious and frustrated over his handling of the war in Gaza, are determined to put the president on notice. This morning, a critical test for President Biden in Michigan.
Michigan citizens are engaged in this process and are making sure their voice is heard.
Nationally, the Democratic Party has rallied around President Biden, but here he may have competition, not from another candidate, but from the, quote, uncommitted. Furious over the president's refusal to push for an enduring ceasefire in Gaza, young voters, activists, and members of the state's large Arab and Muslim American communities now urging voters to check the uncommitted box in protest.
I want to support Biden, but he's like, right now, no, I just can't. With the actions that are happening, I can't support him at this point. But I do hope that he does change course.
In 2020, Arab Americans turned out overwhelmingly for Biden, helping deliver him this critical state by just 154,000 votes. But after months of Biden's staunch backing of Israel in its war in Gaza, that support now sharply in doubt.
President Biden is risking another Trump term over his support for the most right-wing government, the most extremist government in the history of Israel.
Facing mounting protests and growing pressure, the White House has tried to reach out to members of the community. But for many here, it may be too little too late. Their anger raw.
We're tired, frankly, of Democrats running on progressive platforms and doing the exact same that Republicans have done.
Donald Trump has barely campaigned here, but he's expected to once again cruise to victory over his final opponent, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. Haley vowing to stay in through Super Tuesday, arguing that nearly half of Republican primary voters are against Trump.
40% of the vote is not with him. You can't win a general election if you don't get the 40%.
But both Biden and Trump are already pivoting to the general election. And as for this uncommitted movement here, their goal isn't to deny Joe Biden a victory. Instead, they are hoping to get 10,000 uncommitted votes. That's the margin by which Donald Trump won this state in 2016. And they're hoping if they can achieve that it will send the president a message loud and clear, push him to change course and show him he can't take these voters and their concerns for granted. George.
And Mary, both Biden and Trump heading to the border this week.
Yeah, quite the timing here, George. President Biden will be down on the border on Thursday, just his second visit as president. It comes, of course, as he has been slamming Republicans in Washington for failing to act on immigration and pass that bipartisan border deal. Donald Trump will also be down there. He, too, is eager to own this issue in the election. Joe Biden joking yesterday he didn't know his, quote, good friend would be down there, too. It is going to be some split screen, George.
Okay, Mary Bruce, thanks very much. Michael.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.